Why Uldaman? A lot of people ask me this question, why have I run Uldaman this amount of times? Without even counting, I'm safe to say I've ran Uldaman over 2k times. And I just want to make a video explaining why I like Uldaman so much and why I still continue to farm it, even in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Firstly, this route I'm going to show you guys is just killing all the possible mobs that can drop Pendulum of Doom in conjunction with a few other items. And I really wanted to make a video about this for so long because I don't think people realize that there's a lot of money to be made in Uldaman, and it's heavily slept on. I farmed 3 Pendulums of Doom, multiple Jackhammers, multiple Papel Fezzes, and like out of all the things I've ever farmed in this game, Uldaman's probably the one that's the most relaxing in conjunction with being the highest profit per hour. If you have good RNG, that is. Big if. But I seem to get lucky quite a bit, so. So these brawlers in the brawlers and the geomancers, they don't drop the Pendulum of Doom, but they do have access to Miner's Head of the Deep and Papel Fez, in conjunction with the Stone Vault shooters and geomancers having access to the Shadowforge Bushmaster gun table. You really want, like, you don't have to go after those mobs, but you're gonna get locked out regardless if you do the Pendulum of Doom run or just a full run in general, just because we're 80, we tend to steamroll anything. So that's why I like to add those additional mobs. Since Blizzard added anti-boosting mechanics to virtually every dungeon, you can't just face roll one pull of the dungeon anymore. Every pull I'm doing is calculated in the sense that like I won't hit the 60-second timer and get stun locked into oblivion. So the Stone Vault Flame Weavers and the Stone Stewards are what you're primarily looking for. The Stone Stewards have a 0.02% chance of dropping the Pendulum, and the Flame Seers approximately have a 0.03% chance to drop the Pendulum as well. So if you kill Stone Stewards and Flame Seers, you virtually have like a 1 in 1,000 chance of seeing a Pendulum. Well, like I said, this run isn't just for the Pendulum. To me, that is. I like to get other rare stuff out of here. But if you're someone who's looking for the Pendulum of Doom in particular, that is the route you want to take. You can just go straight for all the brawlers, all the Flame Seers, all the Stone Stewards. But I take this route specifically because this little like decline after this room leading to the last boss has a few Stone Stewards, and like that adds quite a higher chance of seeing a Pendulum of Doom. I've seen a lot of screenshots on like Wowhead of people getting Pendulums of Doom from Stone Stewards, even though all of mine have come from Flame Weavers. So it's just good that like double down, get everything you can. If you're here farming a Pendulum of Doom, you most likely have like a gambling addiction or RNG addiction of some kind. So running down and getting those additional mobs is worth it in the long haul, at least to me. You can jump up here, ride the rail, avoid the Stone Steward stun. And also, there's another thing I want to talk about. This final boss, he doesn't really drop anything interesting in particular, but what I like about killing the final boss in particular is the chest, the Ancient Treasure. Ancient Treasure has a very unique loot table, and the fact it can drop Miner's Head of the Deep It can drop a few choice BOEs. It can drop aquamarines, incredibly rare recipes. I got the barbaric belt recipe out of it yesterday, and I sold it for 2K, no questions asked. So it's like if you're doing the Stone Stewart in the full pendulum run, kind of goes back to that earlier theme. Might as well do that too. It's like additional like 10-20 seconds. So damn, I got two regal items. Pretty good. Pretty good RNG. Hopefully the RNG pays off later. But yeah, these aquamarines sell for quite a bit on my server, like 20 gold each. Also too, the Mage Weave, even if you don't get any BOEs, and this is what I really like about Uldaman that people really kind of like sleep on in general, is the fact that the Mage Weave on my server goes for 15 gold a stack, depending on the time of day. If you're like me, Night Owl, um, you can sell a lot of that mage weave for like upper 15, 20 gold per stack, which in itself is just incredible. In conjunction with the mithril ore, let's say you have AV weekend or double XP buff, choice journeys, whatever it's called. You a lot of people will level their engineering for their alts. And when I noticed, and from my personal experience, when I was leveling my alt during AV weekend, double XP weekend, mithril bars were selling 150 a stack, and I was buying them, and so were a lot of other people. And I sold my remaining mithril bars the same weekend, and I actually like they sold rather fast. So if you were to stockpile the mithril, wait for joyous journeys, that could be another big play in itself. And that's another passive thing I like about Uldaman overall. You don't get any BOEs, you're still looking at like a flat income just from mithril, mage weave, vendoring BOEs. This is the last part that has the stone stewards. There should be like 3 to 4 of them. Also, the earthen shapers and the smashers, sculptors, I mean, have access to the Uldaman, a few Uldaman BOEs, not the Pendulum of Doom. They can drop the Bone Breaker, they can drop the offhand, the lantern. As you can see right now, I'm just pulling up a lot of Mage Wave. It's a very relaxing farm. You put on a podcast, do like lockout instantly. But if there's no mithril over there, I just go to the back door, I'll restart it, and I'll just literally run that circle. And by running that route specifically, you will encompass every single mob that drops a Pendulum of Doom, because the only two mobs in this version of WoW that drop the Pendulum of Doom are the Stone Vault Flame Seers at a 0.03% drop chance, in conjunction with the Stone Stewards, who have a lower chance at 0.02% chance. So Uldaman's not like that big run where it's like it's not like Strath where you're copping 400 or 500 gold an hour, like you get a mount too. But if you're like me, you like really weird items. I have 3 jackhammers. I'm that guy who like keeps all the rare BOEs. You can make quite a bit of money here. When I was selling a few of my BOEs, I was making a lot of money. I sold my first Pendulum in Classic WoW for 10k. They're currently going for 40, 50k in Wrath, and people are buying those as well. So that's another thing that could be considered of when deciding if you want to farm here or not, because a lot of people overlook this place and they'll go to other avenues, and I don't blame them. But if you're like me, you play a lot of old school RuneScape, you don't mind getting your hands dirty with a little grind, this is a really good place to farm gold. And honestly, like it genuinely shocks me more people don't do this, because it's so simple, bro. But that's all for now. I really appreciate it. Um, that's all I do is I stream raid, stream Uldaman. Hopefully you get a pendulum. You probably will get one before me, and I'll be jealous.